Hey, welcome back to the Plant Parent channel. Today I'm going to walk you through my training session yesterday and then discuss some things that I've noticed that have happened after training at home for the past 5 years. So for starters, I began the workout with some weighted pull-ups. I did 3 sets. I did the first 2 sets with a neutral grip and then the third set with just a traditional overhand pull-up grip. I did all the sets with a 25-pound dumbbell strapped between my legs on a belt. And then I moved on to some shoulder width, or I like to call them a close grip push up on my parallel bar with my feet elevated. I then did 2 sets each of a tricep movement and a bicep movement. The tricep movement I chose today was a seated double arm overhead extension. I normally do this movement with just one arm, but today I decided to do it with 2 arms at a time with my elbows flared out a little bit more. And honestly, it felt great. So definitely keep that variation in my rotation. And then I did my curls slightly different as well than I usually do. I did them seated on a chair with my kind of legs spread out further and the dumbbells in between my legs. And this just allowed me to feel a lot more stable than if I were to do them standing. So I liked this variation as well. I then went on to some lateral raises, doing them rest pause fashion as I normally do. So 1 set of about 12 to 15 reps ish, and then 3 or 4 mini sets of maybe 3 to 6 reps each, and then just taking about 2 or 3, maybe 4 breaths in between each set. I then finished off the workout with some simple jump squats and did 3 sets there. So, now to get into the main topic at hand, what has happened after training at home for the past 5 years? I know a lot of people think that home workouts are worthless, that you'll just spin your wheels and lose all your progress. But 5 years in, I can tell you, that's not what happened to me. In fact, training at home has changed my life in ways I didn't really even expect. So I'm going to share everything I've noticed, the biggest lessons, and the surprising benefits of training at home for this long. So, number one is a doozy, guys. I didn't lose all my muscle. I feel like many people have this idea that if you stop going to a commercial gym, you'll just lose everything that you've built. A lot of people think that because you don't have machines, barbells, and all that equipment, you'll just automatically shrink to nothing. Well, 5 years later, I can confidently say that's not true. My muscles didn't fall off, my strength didn't vanish. I didn't look in the mirror one day and think, well, I guess it's over. None of that happened. And why? Because muscle is built and maintained through hard efforts and consistency, not just through fancy gym setups. With bodyweight movements, pull ups, push ups, squats, and some dumbbell work, you can still properly stimulate your muscles. You can still grow if that's the goal, and you can still maintain an athletic physique. So the myth that home workouts don't work, to me, is just busted, in my opinion. Number two is I saved a ton of time. Training at home has saved me an unbelievable amount of time over the past 5 years. Think about it. No commuting to the gym, no traffic, no packing a bag, no waiting on machines. At the gym, what could be a 30-minute workout can easily turn into a 90-minute ordeal. By the time you drive there, change, wait on equipment, and then drive back, that's your whole evening gone sometimes. At home, I can literally walk into my hallway, grab my pull up bar, and start training. My workouts are more streamlined. I can get in and out in 20 or 30 minutes if I need to, and I don't feel like I've wasted time. Over 5 years, that adds up to hundreds of hours. And with those hours I've saved, I've been able to spend them with my wife, our Nala girl, on projects, on work, or just relaxing. That's super worth it, in my opinion. The next thing is I saved a ton of money. I think this one's pretty obvious, but gym memberships aren't crazy expensive month to month, but add them up over 5 years, plus gas money driving back and forth, maybe even grabbing food on the way home, wear and tear on your car, it all adds up. Meanwhile, at home, you make a one-time investment in a few pieces of equipment, pull-up bar, some adjustable dumbbells, maybe a bench, and you're set. That equipment pays for itself many times over. The next one would be that I was able to become more productive and developed a better balance between training and just my everyday life. So, one of the biggest benefits of home training is how easy it is to fit into your life. If I've got a busy workday, I can train in the morning before calls. If I've got something going on at night, I can squeeze in a quick session in the afternoon. And the best part, it doesn't require rearranging my whole schedule around gym hours or figuring out when I'll be able to leave my apartment. I've even done things like start making dinner in between sets. It sounds kind of funny, but it works. Instead of just sitting on my phone during rest periods, I might chop some veggies, throw something in the oven, or even start a load of laundry. Training has become part of the rhythm of my daily life, not some separate thing that I have to block off hours for. The next thing I noticed was I experienced a mindset shift. I stopped caring about what was quote unquote optimal or what the perfect program was. I stopped chasing personal records and the big lifts like deadlift, bench, and barbell squat, obviously. Instead, I started focusing on what really matters: being consistent, stimulating the target muscles, moving thoughtfully, feeling good, and just, staying capable. I realized fitness isn't about lifting the heaviest weight possible and always trying to increase the weight I use. It's about building a lifestyle that I can stick to long term. And for me, home training has made that possible. The next one is that I gained what I call fitness freedom. So I can train at any time of the day: early morning, right before dinner, in the evening, it doesn't matter. I don't have to think about gym hours or travel restraints. I can even train on trips with minimal gear and not worry about finding a gym nearby. This is something that's going to be very applicable to me in a few weeks when we go on vacation, and I can just bring my pull up bars and maybe my weighted vest to the Airbnb, and I can just knock out a workout 2 or 3 times a week before we all get up for the day. It's such a relief knowing fitness is always available. I'm not tied to a specific building or schedule. That flexibility is one of the biggest reasons I've been able to keep this going for 5 years straight, in my opinion. And then the next point was that I improved my recovery and just longevity in general. My body just feels better. Like I'm not constantly sore, beat up, or dealing with little nagging pains the way I used to when I was lifting really heavy in the gym all the time. Training at home naturally pushed me towards more body weight and moderate resistance movements. And that's been a huge win for my recovery and longevity, I think. When you don't have access to a bunch of heavy machines or barbells, you start learning how to make lighter resistance feel harder, slowing down reps, controlling your form, focus on quality over quantity. And that shift in training style is way easier on my joints. Over time, that adds up. My shoulders, knees, and back just feel solid. I don't wake up tight or achy. I don't need long deloads, and I can train consistently week after week without feeling worn down. It's about being able to keep training for decades. I'd rather be the person who's still doing push-ups, pull-ups, and maybe some walking lunges in my 60s than the one who peaked in their 20s and can't lift without pain now. Training at home taught me how to respect my body, not just push it. It's sustainable, it's lower overall stress, and it's something I can see myself doing for life. So, after 5 years of training at home, what happened? Well, my biceps didn't fall off, I didn't lose all my strength, and I didn't fall off my fitness in general. Instead, I saved time, I saved money, I became more productive, I built discipline, I got creative for sure. I developed a better balance with fitness and life, and my whole mindset around fitness ultimately changed for the better, in my opinion. So, if you've ever doubted whether home workouts can work, I'm living proof that they can. 5 years in, and I wouldn't trade it. So, if you're considering training at home, give it a shot. Stick with it. You might be surprised at what happens. Thanks for listening. And if this helped you or gave you something to think about, make sure to subscribe and drop a comment. Let me know, how long have you been training at home and what's the biggest thing you've noticed over that time? All right, we'll see you in the next one.